Okay, so let's look at this example. We are going to look at the odd data and the even data. So let's start with the odd data. So with quartiles, the first principle is that once we are given the data, you have to arrange the data in ascending order or descending order. But mostly, you can arrange it in ascending order. So in this one, we have to arrange this one in ascending order. That means that it's going to start with 4. It's going to start with 5. So we have for another 4. So we have to look at it. The fours are 2, then 5, then 7, then another, okay, 10, another 10, then we have 12, we have 15. So, and then 32. So 32 is the last thing. So now, as we have arranged it, let's first look at the anatomy of the data set. And we have to look at the anatomy of the data set because without it, we cannot have our Q1 and then our Q3. Okay, so in looking at the anatomy of the data set, because it's an odd data, we have to look at it. Let's see. And first identify um, so we have to look at it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our data is 9. So in dividing it means that we have 4 here, halfway. So this one becomes the middle number, right? So once we have gotten this middle number, this one becomes our our lower half, okay, or first half. Then this also becomes the upper half, okay, or the second half, okay. So now we can move ahead to calculate for the Q1, the Q2, the Q3, the Q4, the Q0. Okay. So you can first solve the Q0. So the Q0 simply means that the lower value of the data set. Okay. And with this case, 4 is our what? Our Q0. Okay. Then we can also get our Q2. Q2 is actually is the same as the median over here. Okay, so it's the same as the median number. So Q2 is what? 10. Then Q4. Q4 is actually the highest what? Value of the data set. And with this data, the highest value is what? Is 32. Okay. Now let's come to how to solve for the Q1 and then the Q3. So in solving for Q1 and Q3, we have to look at, you see, so now we can, if you like, you can stamp or cancel this one. So now you look at this one. So Q1 simply means the median of the lower half, okay, of the data. So this is the lower half of the data. And looking at the median, because this one, 2, 3, 4, so we have two numbers, okay. So our Q1 our Q1 is going to be 4 plus 5. Then we divide it by 2. And that's going to give us 9 divided by 2 is what? Is it 4.5? 4.5. So we have 4.5. So Q1 becomes what? 4.5. Now let's look at Q3. So Q3 Q3 also means that the median of the upper half of the second half of the data. Okay. So looking at this one too, we have two middle numbers. Okay. So it's going to be 12 plus 15 divided by 2. And that's going to give us 27 over 2, which is somewhere, is it 23.5? Okay, 13.5. That's 13.5. So that is that's our Q3. So this one, if maybe if the data was to be ages, then we would have been adding the units to it. Okay, but this question doesn't have, they didn't state the units. Okay, so yeah. So now so this is for the odd data. Let's go to the even data. So right, so let's look at the even data. The even data is also going to follow like similar principle to as well. Okay, so we have, so our data, so that one too. Now we are looking at the even data. So with the even data, the principle still applies. We have to what? rearrange the data. Okay, so in rearranging the data, mostly if you want to rearrange it, you can just look at your lower number and then the highest number so that it will guide you with the rearranging. So it starts from 3, 5, we have 8, we have 13, then we have 18, we have 22. Okay, so with this one too, first have to look at, so we have to look at the anatomy of the data set. So in looking at the anatomy of the data set, we have to look at, so with this one, you see the first one, because it was odd, so we had a single number. Over here, we have to divide the data into two. So in dividing into two, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our data becomes like this. And with that one, it means that this side becomes our first half, okay? And then this one becomes what? Our second half of the data. So now we can move ahead to solve for our Q1, our Q0, Q2, Q3, Q4. So Q0, as we have already established, is what the so the Q0 is actually the lowest value of the data set. And the lowest value of the data set over here is 3. Okay. The another thing that we can also solve easily is what? The Q4. So Q4 is what? The highest value of the data set. And that is what? 22. Okay. Now we can easily solve for our Q2. You know, the Q2 is the same as the median. So in that case, the Q2 is going to be 8 plus 13 over 2, which is going to be 21 over 2, and that one will give us 10.5. Okay. Now, in solving for the Q1 and Q3, now this is our first half. Okay. And Q1, as we have already said, Q1 is actually the median of the first half. Okay. Or yeah. So in this case, the Q1, our Q1, this is the first half of the data. And the median is what? It's 5. Okay. So it means that our median here, our Q1 is going to be 5. Okay. Then the Q3 is simply what? The median of the upper half. So in that case, this one becomes what? Our Q3. 18. So 18 becomes what? The Q3. Okay, which is the median of the second half of the data. Right. Okay. So in summary, what we say is that when you are dealing with an even data, that one you have a single number, okay, and then the after so before that median is your first half, and then after it is your second half of the data. But when you are dealing with an odd data, that one you will not have a single number. So in between the two numbers that is at the middle, you strike it, and then you have your first half, second half of your data. Okay.